name is Robert Lillard Parker, better known as Butch Cassidy, the infamous outlaw from the good old days of the Wild West. I'm here to tell you a little about myself and set the record straight. My parents were Maximilian Parker and Annie Campbell. Back then, people tended to have large families, and my mother was no exception. My mother had 13 kids, including me, and I was the oldest. Life was hard growing up, and my family was poor, so it was up to me to get the resources, money, and keep the younglings safe. Sadly, my dad was never there for me, but my good friend Mike Cassidy was. He was like a father to me. Mike Cassidy was a farmer, but he wasn't a typical farmer. Only 3 words. He didn't buy his own sheep. He didn't buy his own cows and sheep. Only 3 words. He stole them. I guess you can say Mike was a big influence on my life. He was the one who influenced my whole robbering career. My first robbery was nothing big. I just stole a pair of jeans and a pot because I needed jeans and food. Even though the store was closed, I didn't care. I took the pie and jeans and left a note saying I would pay them back. The store owner didn't believe it. Because who would? I'm a robber. And so the store owner took me to court and went to jail for 2 years. When I was in jail, I might not have had the most wholesome fellows to influence me, but hey, it was my life, and when I was in jail, I figured out if I can get away with jeans and pie, then I can get away with money. Boy, did I steal a lot of money in my life. Once I was traveling through Colorado, and I noticed that it was packed and booming. It was a boom town. There were miners everywhere, and when there is boom town, there is money. So they would mine till 6 o'clock for gold and then drink till 10 o'clock at night. Only a few lucky people got their money if they found gold. Most people who found gold would get half of the money and the bank would snatch the rest. I took notice of this because the saloon, which was my favorite place, was right next to the San Luis Bay. I heard many rumors that anyone who tried to steal the money would get kicked out of town. I didn't want to get kicked out of town. I didn't want to get kicked out of the best beer and whiskey selling town, but I did want to get that money. I took notice to some other people who were outside being mad because the bank stole their money, and I said, "You guys want to help me steal the money?" And they said yes. So later that night, we went to the bank, and I told them to wait outside while I went inside. I went inside and got a check that was only like $1 or $2, and I asked the cashier if he could cash this in, and he was the only one there, so he said yes. And as soon as he leaned in, I grabbed his neck and I said, "You be quiet, or else I'll put a finger to your neck, if you know what I mean." And so I called my other friends to come in, and they did what they were told. I told them to get the money, and they did what they were told again. And they stole $21,000 that day. And we had to split it evenly, so we didn't get as much, but it's still a lot of money. All that money together was $560,000. After that, I went on to get more and more money. Even though I was a robber and somebody wouldn't prefer as good, I always kept my word. There's this one time when I was going to jail, and I asked if I could be released, and I would return that morning. And what do you know? They released me, and I came back that morning. But after I got out of jail, I was sure to have a bounty for me. There were sheriffs here and there always looking for me. There's this one specific sheriff that had $560,000 bounty on me. I went to his hotel to stay there and hide away for a little bit, but I guess I got partners with that one sheriff who was looking for me. He never got a good look at me, I guess, and I left as quickly as I can. So I noticed that that was a close call, so if I was that close to getting in jail and getting killed or anything worse, I needed a gang. And so I formed a gang called the Wild Bunch. Boy, did we steal a lot of money. They were always there for me when I was in trouble or anything like that. But we didn't last very long. After 2 years, we broke apart. And I slipped off to Argentina, and they went I don't know where. Then I slipped off to Bolivia to keep a low profile. And supposedly that's where I got shot. Nobody really knows about my whole afterlife or story. It's like a case that I'm in, and then the key to lock the case is in the river somewhere in like an ancient land. So after all those years of robbing, I successfully collected $3,712, $3,712,000 with and without my gang. So when you think of the Wild West, think of me, Butch Cassidy.